Yo, what's going on, Kings fans? It's Tyler here, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing some Kings stuff. I have a couple topics here. We're going to be talking about the 2019 NBA draft that just happened a couple days ago. We're going to be talking about free agency. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be kind of like a podcast style. I have no clue how long this video is going to be. I'm just going to talk about, talk about stuff. And I'm sure if you're a Kings fan, you can pop this on while you're at work or on the drive, and you can just listen to me ramble about the Kings, because I wish there was more Kings podcasts and stuff to listen to. So I figured, I'm not going to be listening to myself, but I can give other people something to listen to when it pertains to the Sacramento Kings. So we're going to talk about some Kings stuff. Here we go. For starters, I guess we'll start at the... by the way, guys, like the video and subscribe if you're new here. I'm doing Kings coverage. I didn't do that much during the playoffs, but I figured I'll kind of let the Kings stuff, relax for a little bit during playoffs. And now that we got to the draft, we have stuff to talk about. I didn't want to force topics. I'm going to be covering... Oh, and there's work going on in the background, so that's what the loud sound is. Didn't want to force Kings topics. I just wanted to give Kings fans some time to relax. But now we have draft to talk about. So subscribe if you're new here. We're 25 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you guys could please subscribe, it'd be great. Here we go. So I might have just hit the mic there. If I did, my bad. So the 2019 NBA draft, that's what we'll start with. It was kind of a disappointment if you're a Kings fan, because we had the 40th, 47th, and 60th pick. So you basically had to sit there for like 3 hours before you finally got to the 40th pick, which was ridiculous. Or no, probably like 2.5 hours before you finally got to your own pick, which was super boring. I mean, it's entertaining to see where the guys go, like on other teams, but let's be honest. Kings fans want to see what's going on with the Kings, just like every other team wants to see what's going on with every other team, or every other fan of a team wants to see what's going on with their team. But the thing is, like, some people are just like LeBron fans or just Laker fans. I don't mind. Like, I'll sit there and watch the draft. My dad was like getting impatient, but I didn't care. Point being is, draft was a disappointment. Vlada'd in this draft. Now, I actually was down on this draft when it happened, and I went back and I did research and looked at the players. The Kings worked out over 100 guys in this offseason so far, before the draft, pre-draft workouts, and Kyle Guy was the only guy, pun intended, or not, I don't really know. Kyle Guy was the only player to come back twice, or to come back a second time for a workout. So he's worked out twice. So it's pretty much a sure thing we were going to draft him. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. Our first draft was Justin James, and he basically, to me, kind of looks like what Ben McLemore was supposed to be, plus some Justin Jackson on a 6'7" frame. He actually doesn't look that bad. He's pretty athletic. He can jump up and grab some dunks. He can shoot. He can shoot the ball. I think Vlade just wants a 6'7" player. Kawhi 6'7", Klay Thompson 6'7". He's just going for that tall shooting guard, average size, small forward type player. Because the other guy he drafted, Vanya, let's look him up real quick. I don't want to butcher the name. It's actually not that hard of a name to pronounce. Vanya Marinkovic. Vanya Marinkovic. He's actually also 6'7". Neither guy is that bad. I went and looked at some film of them, and basically Justin James is more athletic. His basketball IQ isn't as high, but he's more athletic, obviously. So that's going to help, if he can jump up and dunk the ball. He can jump up and dunk the ball, and obviously Vanya Marinkovic can jump up and dunk the ball too. The point being is, he doesn't have to have necessarily a great basketball IQ. That's not his strong. If you're athletic, if you're athletic, you can build all the other stuff. And Justin James is athletic. I mean, he has a decent basketball IQ. I'm just saying, like, these European players, like this Marinkovic dude, he plays just like Bogdan does. Great passes. He can shoot deep threes. He's a little taller, a little lankier than Bogdan, which will make him a better fit at small forward. Which I think both of these drafts were for the small forward role. I think Vlade just, like, let's just get some guys in here that could play small forward, possibly. I think that's all Vlade cared about in this draft. And then we have Kyle Guy, who to me looks like he's got some J.J. Redick, Kyle Korver-ish potential, more J.J. Redick than Kyle Korver. He kind of reminds me a little more of J.J. Redick. but just kind of like coming off screens, bang threes, almost kind of like the guy that got tried to the Clippers from the Sixers. Oh my god, I can't think of his name. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was playing basketball till late, so I'm tired. What was his name? I'll think of it in a minute. Wow, I can't think of his name. Let's look up the Clippers roster. It's on the tip of my tongue. Landry Shamet. Boom. He kind of has some Landry Shametness to his game, from what it seems. He can handle the ball. He can dunk the ball, actually, which is kind of crazy. I think he's 6'3", so he's not super short, but he is white, I believe. So, so white guys don't really jump very high. And he's more of a shooter. He's more of a finesse player, but he's got some handles and he can dunk. So it's like not, he is impressive. But I think personally the best player in this draft is probably going to be Vanya Marinkovic, or for us at least. He seems like just like Bogdan, except lankier, a little taller, like a little bigger, a little bit bigger frame. His jump shot, like the way he releases his shot, looks just like Bogdan. It's pretty like similar. It's kind of funny. All those European dudes are like play exactly the same. So basically, we got Vanya, we got Kyle Guy, and we got Justin James. If I had to rank them, my prediction, in order, I actually think Kyle Guy probably has the highest potential, like the highest ceiling of being something real good. Because in this league, if you're JJ Redick, you're going to be making a lot of money. Can you imagine if JJ Redick was 22 coming into the league right now? How much money he'd be getting paid the next 12 years to just hit threes? He already got paid like 20 mil from Philadelphia last year, and he's in his mid-30s. So I think Kyle Guy actually has potential. Vanya Marinkovic is young. That's the one knock on Bogdan, is that we got him when he was a little older. Vanya Marinkovic is younger, so that will help definitely help him. And he wants to come play next year, so that's great too. And then Justin James, he kind of seems like a generic guard type player. Nothing seems too great. He can shoot, he can dunk the ball. Like there's even highlights on YouTube if you look him up, where the ball's thrown away from him and he still kind of grabs it and dunks it. Like he's got some athleticism. That's the word that I keep thinking about with Justin James, athleticism. I think he's athletic, and I think everything else will come. Now, all these dudes could just be trash and irrelevant in the next 2 years. Who knows? But I actually like these players for being relative unknowns. I like what they can all bring to the table possibly in the future. So that's all I'm going to say about that. In terms of how the actual draft went, I thought we were going to be moving up into the 20 range. That was the rumor all day. We were going to move up. We were going to move up. We were going to move up. The Thunder were trying to get rid of the 21st pick. I thought they were going to use it to entice some teams to take on Schroeder or Adams or Roberson because they're trying to get under the salary cap. And I badly wanted the Kings to trade like Bielitsa and 2 second-round picks to the Thunder for Steven Adams. Oh my god, I wanted it so bad. I was so disappointed when it didn't happen. My girlfriend actually took my phone from me because she didn't want me to look at the Twitter updates of Woj and Shams, because I told her I was eating dinner and I was watching TV and I was on my phone and I was like, wasn't even eating dinner. I was just like updating Twitter, looking at the TV, updating Twitter, and I was like, you know what? She didn't take it from me. I gave it to her. I said, take this away from me because I can't stop looking, because the Thunder pick was coming up and I knew it was going to get traded, but I didn't know where. So I was like, take my phone. I just want it to be a surprise, but I want them to see what happens on TV. And then here comes, I don't even remember who it was, but they're like, we have a trade to announce. The Thunder pick is getting traded to, and I ran in the living room and it said, the Grizzlies, and I was like, oh no, why? I wanted it to be the Kings. So I thought maybe there was a chance we'd be getting Steven Adams. I would love Steven Adams. And let me say something real quick. I am just about sick of seeing people on Twitter. We're going to get into free agency discussions later, but Jonas Valanciunas' name is popping up amongst Kings fans. We could get Valanciunas. He's younger than Dedmon. He's younger than Nikola Vucevic. And then people go, oh, he can't even stretch the floor. He can't even shoot the 3 ball. We don't want a center that can't shoot a 3. Oh, my God. These basketball nerds that freak out over people that can't shoot 3s, I am so sick of it. Does Willie shoot 3s? No. And half the Kings fan base still wants Willie. So why is it that... And by the way, Valanciunas does shoot 3s. Doesn't shoot them a lot, but he does shoot threes. He can shoot the ball. He has a nice stroke. But I am so irritated with these nerd basketball fans that only care about analytics, and they the center doesn't shoot a three, so we don't. I don't want him. My center's gonna stretch the floor. I understand that's important in this era, but we have Marvin Bagley, we have Bielitsa, we have Harry Giles. Those guys can all shoot the ball. It's not imperative for us to have a floor-stretching center. Now, we need to stretch the floor for De'Aaron to be able to do what he does best. You know what? We also need a center that can rebound the ball. And we don't have that right now. And I am so sick of these people on Twitter, these Kings fans that, our center's got to stretch the floor, or we can't. And, I don't want to sign someone that can't stretch the floor. I mean, who cares? As far as I'm concerned, your center should be there for defense, rebounding, and low post scoring. Call me old school. But your center doesn't need to stretch the floor. Now, if we signed Brook Lopez, I would love it. I would love if we signed Brook Lopez and he was banging threes. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's necessary. If you want to run a floor-stretching lineup, go De'Aaron, Buddy, Bogdan, Bielitsa, Marvin Bagley. Boom. Everybody can shoot a three in that lineup. I don't think it's necessary for a center to shoot the three. Does it help? Absolutely. Do I like when DeMarcus Cousins jacks up threes? Absolutely not. I can't stand it. I hate it because DeMarcus is so dominant down low. And I'm not talking about down low as in he gets the ball in the perimeter, takes two dribbles, does a Euro step, and falls on the ground. I'm talking about when he's back to the basket, actually posted up, hits some moves, hook shot, dunk, whatever it is, he is unstoppable down low. He either gets fouled, or he dunks, or he'll offensive foul, elbow someone every once in a while. But the point being is, he doesn't need to be shooting threes. Marc Gasol, he doesn't need to. In his old age, it's probably better for him to not be playing as physical, but it's not necessary for him to shoot threes. He could still play down low. Brook Lopez, the Bucks probably would have actually benefited from him getting some post touches when they couldn't score. To be honest, he shouldn't have been just jacking up threes the whole time. So my thing is, like Kings fans saying, there's fans saying they would turn down Steven Adams because he can't shoot the ball. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? You would not take Steven Adams on this team to run with De'Aaron and Buddy because he can't shoot the ball. That's ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, comment below and tell me if you think I'm wrong. I want to know. But I think that is the most irritating thing I've heard probably in the last week on Twitter. Okay, got that out of the way. So, what did I get out of the way? I talked about the draft picks. So basically, I thought Vlade was going to move up in the draft, and he didn't. And as soon as we got out of the 20s, I told my dad, I said, to be honest, I think Vlade has his mindset on three guys with each one of the picks, and he knows that nobody else is going to take these three guys, which scared me at the time. I was like, oh God, here we go. We're going to get three pudgy white Serbian guys. That's Vlade's forte. I was like, here we go. We're going to get three pudgy white guys from Serbia. And Vlade doesn't have to trade up because no one's going to get these guys anyway because they're on nobody's radar except Vlade. That's what I was thinking. And I was kind of right with Vanya, but, we got Kyle Guy, we got Justin James, both of which are not pudgy white Serbian guys, so I'm happy. And Vanya isn't even a pudgy white Serbian guy. But, it's not that I'm against the Serbian players. I actually enjoy watching the game. And some of my favorite players of all time are the Euro players and like the players that like finesse players like Dirk, Jerry West, Larry Bird, Kobe. Jordan was a finesse player in his later years. I'm trying to think of some other players that were more finesse. Even like Alex English. Players that were more finesse and not as much like not going to rise up and dunk on you, which don't get me wrong, I love watching a nice dunk. And Kobe could rise up, Jordan would rise up and dunk, but their jumpers were finesse, and I love watching finesse players. And I actually enjoy the finesse game. But I just feel like I just feel like, I don't want the whole team to be Serbians. And of course, they're not, but I was afraid of that happening in the draft. So I basically knew once we got out of the 20s and we hadn't traded up that it wasn't going to happen. I wanted the Kings to take Bol Bol, by the way. Throw that out there. I wanted the Kings to take Bol Bol badly. I wanted Bol Bol in my life. Didn't happen. It is what it is. Last thing the Kings probably need is a project, on the bench. But I really wish they would have took Bol Bol. That would have been amazing. I would love to have Bol Bol, but I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. It happened. It's over with. Let's get into some free agency talk, guys. Free agency. So, as you guys know, Harrison Barnes opted out of his deal with the Kings. $25.1 million, I believe it was. This was about, almost a week ago now? And actually, I want to read two things to you guys from Wojnarowski's Twitter when this happened. Let me find it. Okay, so here it is. This is Wojnarowski's tweet from June 13th when Jonas Valanciunas opted out of his last year of his deal. Voice crack. Woo! Memphis center Jonas Valanciunas plans to decline the $17.6 million option on the 2019-20 contract, clearing the way to become a free agent. His primary intention will be to negotiate a new deal with Memphis where he averaged 19.9 points per game and 10.7 rebounds after the February trade from Toronto. Okay, now here's the Harrison Barnes tweet. Sacramento Kings forward Harrison Barnes is declining his $25.1 million player option and becoming an unrestricted free agent, his agent Jeff Schwartz of Excel Sports tells ESPN. Barnes, 27, and Kings are open to exploring a new deal together this summer. Okay, so we have Jonas Valanciunas. His primary intention will be to negotiate a new deal with Memphis, compared to the Kings are open to exploring a new deal together this summer. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if Harrison Barnes re-signing is a done deal. Now, tell me down below in the comments if you think I'm overreacting too much. But it definitely seems to me like Harrison Barnes may not be coming back. And to be honest, I know we give up Justin Jackson for him, but I wouldn't mind if he didn't come back. Now, let me tell you why. I think Harrison Barnes puts a cap on the Kings' offense. Let me explain. So, Harrison Barnes is like average. That's what he is. He's 6'8". He's the size we need at that position of need for us. But that's about where it ends. His scoring is average. His defense is average to sometimes above average. And he's not a dynamic shot maker. He's not a shot creator. He's not really a playmaker. He's just somebody that runs up and down the floor, stands in the corner, shoots the three, will drive in, get the layup. But he's not a dynamic scorer. Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Chris Middleton. I know Chris Middleton's going to go back to the Bucks. Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler, well, I think one of those guys is going to be up for grabs. Now, I think those guys, either one, would be a much better fit with the Kings team than Harrison Barnes. Now, let me rephrase that. Harrison Barnes is a fit in the sort of way that, like, you don't have to worry about him getting a big ego or kind of trying to take over games in crunch time and arguing with teammates and stuff like that. He's a guy that he'll play every night for you. He'll give it his all, and he'll do the best he can, and he'll make the right play a majority of the time. But that's it. So our main scorers are going to be De'Aaron, Buddy, and Marvin Bagley, and Bogdan. Whereas if you had somebody like a Jimmy Butler or a Tobias Harris, they could probably defend the same guy Harrison Barnes would, but their scoring's more dynamic. Tobias Harris can get hot in a hurry. Jimmy Butler has a nice mid-range game. He can hit game winners like it's nothing. I know he costs a lot more, but you get what you pay for. And me personally, if it was me, I probably would go Valanciunas and Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler. Basically, what I'm saying is I would not sign Nikola Vucevic. I know I made a video breaking down free agency a couple months ago, but I would not sign. Did I say Valanciunas? Because I meant to say I would not sign Nikola Vucevic. I would not sign Vucevic. There we go. I would sign probably Valanciunas and then Harris or Butler if I could. Now, I know that's a pipe dream, but the point being is, not only do I not think it's a sure thing for Harrison Barnes to come back, but I don't even know if we're going to sign a center. I mean, to me, Vlade not taking a center in the draft means we're going to be signing a center. He's going to go all in on Vucevic more likely. I personally don't want that. I'd rather go for Valanciunas. He'll be cheaper and he's younger. And you can use the money you save there to pick up Jimmy Butler or Tobias Harris. What he's probably going to do is re-sign Harrison Barnes and sign Vucevic to a deal. Harrison Barnes will accept. Vucevic may go somewhere else. So he may still have that money left over. I would sign Valanciunas, and then I would throw as much money as I possibly could at Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler and see what happens from there. I would be, because look at the King. The Kings could, if Harrison Barnes would have opted into this deal, it would have been $21.5 million or $25.1 million that we were stuck with for a year. The Kings are now open. They can do whatever they want inside the realm of possibility. Obviously, most players probably, Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler probably won't even consider coming here. But the thing is, they got to do their due diligence. They need to try as hard as they can to get top-level talent in Sacramento. And you can't just skip over Middleton, skip over Tobias Harris, skip over Jimmy Butler, skip over Kawhi Leonard, skip over Kevin Durant. I know Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard aren't going to happen. What I'm saying is Harrison Barnes is not your top 5 in your options at small forward. He's just not. You need to try to talk to every single player before Harrison Barnes, before you just sign Harrison Barnes to a deal. You can't just blindly sign Harrison Barnes. You got to at least try to get Tobias Harris first. And or Jimmy Butler or whoever. Me personally, I want Jimmy Butler on the team. And the reason I say that is because Jimmy Butler had to be teammates with soft-ass Andrew Wiggins, Ben Simmons, and Karl Anthony Towns in the last couple of years. And I think the kind of things he complains about are the antithesis of what the Kings are. The Kings are a tough team. They're fun to play with. They work hard. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield never stop working, especially Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield goes hard. And I think those are the kind of guys Jimmy Butler would love to play with. And you know, you've heard the interviews before. He's talked about how he just wants guys that compete and play hard and actually basically care. And nobody cares more than this Kings team. They're thirsty. And I think Jimmy Butler would be the right person to lead them. So I think the Kings need to not make Harrison Barnes such an option. And the way it made it sound was that they're open to exploring a new deal with Harrison Barnes. To me, that sounds like it's not going to happen. But I could be wrong. It could just be how it was worded, like I said. With that out of the way, free agency is looking to be crazy. Like I said, I would sign Valanciunas, but there's Brook Lopez. There's, we could potentially re-sign Willie. I hope not. There's Marc Gasol might opt out of his deal. He could be open and available, which I wouldn't want him. Al Horford's available. I wouldn't want him either. I don't want any old guy. The oldest I'd be willing to go is Vucevic, but I still think we'd be paying him way too much. He's like 29 or 30. That's as old as I'd go. No Horford, no Gasol. Give me Valanciunas. Give me Vucevic before those guys. And I guess the next part of this is, that's pretty much all I had to say about that. As far as backup point guard goes, I don't know if they're just going to make Kyle Guy the point guard, backup point, and just like get rid of Yogi and get rid of Frank Mason. I hope not. I hope we at least keep Frank. And I love Yogi. I'd keep Yogi too. I think we're gonna waive Yogi and maybe Frank Mason. I hope not, but you never know. As far as free agency goes, it's really up in the air. It depends if the Kings make a trade. I've had this gut feeling for a couple weeks now that the Kings trade Bogdan. But really the last couple hours I've thought about it now, And my dad actually told me that Vanya Mirakovic, was that his name? I don't really remember. But anyways, my dad told me that he actually played with Bogdan in Serbia. So that makes me think that there's no way they trade Bogdan. But Bogdan's going to be an expiring contract. And I just, for some reason, I've had a gut feeling that we trade Bogdan and Bjelica together and maybe a second round pick in the future for something. I don't know what it would be. I came up with a draft scenario on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Tap2K43. I came up with a potential draft scenario. Bogdan, Bjelica, and a second round pick. Or maybe just Bogdan and Bjelica. Or maybe just Bogdan and a second round pick. For Clint Capella, I said, who says no? Now let me explain. My mindset with the Kings free agency this year, with the center, with the Vucevic situation, is that I'm afraid we're going to overpay Vucevic for how old he is, and is he really that good? Who knows? And my thing with Vucevic is that I would rather trade Bogdan, Bjelica, and a second round pick for Clint Capella or for Steven Adams, guys that are making 24 mil a year or 25 or whatever it is, rather than overpay Vucevic at 30 years old, who's going to be starting at making 30 mil and will probably go up a little bit for the next 4 years. I'd rather trade some assets for something cheaper that would probably fit better, because I don't think Vucevic is that great of a fit. I mean, he can run from three-point line to three-point line and stretch the floor, that's fine. But can he run with the Kings? Can he keep up with De'Aaron and Buddy and Bagley the way that Willie does? Because you can say what you want about Willie, but the one thing he does is keep up with the team. He keeps up. He runs up and down the floor. He catches the lobs. We need that. We just need a much better version of it. I think Clint Capella is the best version of that. Now, Clint Capella might not be as skilled with the passing and kind of some of the ball handling, but I don't think we need that. And I think more often than not, that gets us into trouble more than it helps us. So I personally would probably try to trade for Clint Capella if I was the Kings. I know that might sound kind of gross to some people, but he can run and he can catch lobs. And he's making 24 mil, but Vucevic is going to make like at least 30, maybe more than that, I think. And I just do not want to give Vucevic that money. I don't feel comfortable doing that. So if I could put together a Buddy Bjelica second round pick for Clint Capella or Steven Adams, I would definitely think about it. I've had a gut feeling Bogdan gets traded. I kind of still have it, but now that I found out he's friends with that Vanya guy, I know that might not even matter. But it seems to me like Vlade is trying to get some chemistry between Bogdan and Vanya. And I think that there's no way he goes. I think what happened with Bogdan last year is between him trying to play backup point guard and be starting small forward, he had no clue what his role was on the team, because his Bogdan's position is shooting guard, but he was made to either play backup point, basically, unless Yogi or Frank Mason were out there. Majority of the year, Bogdanovic was playing backup point or starting small forward. The year before, when he was amazing, he was a starting shooting guard, and Buddy was coming off the bench. So I think you need to make Bogdan the backup shooting guard, sign a power forward. Maybe Vanya is good enough to play small forward. I doubt it. Off the bench, I mean. But fill out the rest of your bench. And I think the Kings, they need to let Bogdan, if they're not going to trade Bogdan, they need to let him breathe and kind of play a position that he enjoys, do what he's used to doing. Because last year was not it, to be honest. Last year was Bogdan fumbling the ball, Bogdan shooting a garbage shot, Bogdan then has to go to the other end of the floor and guard the best player on the team. It was honestly a mess. It really was. And it's not Bogdan's fault. I don't blame him one bit for it. I think it was the Kings' fault. And I think it was Jaeger's rotations more than anything. And I think Luke Walton will fix that. That being said, fake trades, like I just said, I think Bogdan and Bjelica may be on the table. I think Bogdan, out of the young core, is probably the most tradable asset we have. I don't think the Kings for a second would even think about trading Buddy or Marvin or De'Aaron. Obviously, they're untouchable. Harry, as well, as I'd say, is 99% untouchable. I think Bjelica and Bogdan are probably the most likely to get traded. And, I mean, Bogdan's making $9 million a year. Bjelica's making $6 million. So really, if you trade for Capella or Adams, you're really only adding like $8 or $9 million of extra money on your books. I'd say it's a pretty good trade, but let me guys know what you think about some fake trade scenarios in the comments down below. I want to hear what you have to say. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all I have for you today. I kind of feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know. I think I'm good. I think that's it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe down below if you're new, or subscribe if you're new, comment down below. We're almost 2,000 subscribers, so if you guys enjoyed the Kings talk, you want me to do more Sacramento Kings talk from a Sacramento Kings fan, even though I got Lakers on my wall, they're just 2K posters. I don't mean anything by them. Got all my King stuff over here. Got my Vlade Pejostojakovic, not Vlade. My Pejostojakovic retirement towel over here. I don't know, you probably can't see it. So yeah, guys, that's the video. If you enjoyed and you want me to do more of these, just comment below and let me know, and that'll be what makes me continue. I'm going to have more Kings videos throughout free agency, summer league, preseason. The Kings videos are only going to get more, I'm going to make more from here. I just kind of took a long break during playoffs. So if you guys enjoyed the video, give a like, comment, whatever. Talk to you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, local Sacramento fans, for choosing me. One of you guys said I make the Sacramento fans proud. Thank you. I appreciate that. Talk to you in the next one. I love you.